What's up, everybody? Today we're going to talk about these two bikes, right, that I got in front of you. We're going to talk about Honda and a couple other things, but in case you didn't know, I love Honda, right? I'm all in on Honda, right? We have the flags for the obvious. We have two motorcycles here. I have my first ever 600RR in 06 that I bought. We have the t-shirt to sprinkle it on just in case you were wondering. You know, Honda is what I believe is the superior bike in the group, and we'll call them the big four, right? I'm going to name them as the big four. So when I make reference, that's what I mean, as in the big four is in Japanese: Kawasaki, Suzuki, Yamaha, and Honda. I'm going to kind of keep these separate from the European side. We'll get into that at another time. I believe that these bikes, I'll give it this one caveat, that I believe that all Japanese motorcycles are superior to the European bikes. And I know that people are going to be pissed if they hear that. The reality is that when it comes to European bikes, you have to be extra to take care of these bikes, right? They need extra care. These bikes, all the big four, you yourself can do the changing of the oils and fixing all the maintenance and doing all the things. You don't have to worry about any bugs and big problems per se, okay, on a grand majority level, right? The European bikes, they are needy. They are needy, right? You got a BMW, you got to take it in, you got to do this. Now, okay, don't get me wrong. The bikes are awesome machines, beautiful machines. They are capable of doing great and awesome things. They have great features, especially the BMW. If I was to go European, then BMW would probably be the way to go if I was to tell anybody a certain way. Although Aprilia, Ducati obviously being the main manufacturer of, the brand that sticks out the most, which I don't understand because BMW came before Ducati, I'm pretty sure. But we're getting off topic. These two bikes is what we're really going to talk about, and now I'm going to give you a ground base of Honda. So Honda, the way that these bikes came to be from birth was from a man named Soichiro Honda, and he was born in 1906, right, in a small village where his mom was a weaver, his father was a blacksmith. He also fixed bikes, okay? Over the years, Soichiro worked with his dad, right? As he got a little bit older, he ended up going to work for a auto repair shop. He got involved in racing. He raced for a little while, won some contests. He ended up getting injury in an accident that he got in. Hurt I believe it's his left eye or something. So he stopped racing. Then he started building parts. He was making piston rings, I believe, for Toyota. And after World War II, he sold his company to Toyota, and then kind of just hung out with the family, from what I understand. And about 1946, he started to get back into it. He started building, kind of go back to his roots. He went back to building motorized bikes. And by 1949, he changed his company name to the Honda Motor Company. He also unveiled the first Honda motorcycle, which was, I believe, the D-Type. And it was called the Dream. And he partnered with a man named Takeo Fujisawa, I believe is his name. Don't hold me to that. But he teamed up with this man. I do know he teamed up with another man. And he just started to blow up. By 1959, he opened a dealership in Los Angeles, California. Shortly after that, by 1964, Honda became the world's largest motorcycle brand. Okay, that by 1964. That is not a very long time. Man basically blew up to the world from start of company 1946, 49 to 1964, world's largest Honda motorcycle brand, okay? i.e. motorcycles. It's kind of where he really pushed, that's where all of his vision came from at that time. And he was a racer at heart. That was his passion. Okay, that's also going to build into why, one of the reasons I feel that these bikes are the better bikes, right? He wanted something to be highly reliable and quality. Okay, that's another reason that they have this reputation that they are the most reliable. They've had that reputation for a very long time. You say Honda, that's the exact thing that comes to your mind. That's one of the reasons that I went Honda to begin with, is reliability. That's one of them. Aside from them being aesthetically pleasing to me, I think that they look good, right? A lot of other people do as well. But there's also the quality of the part that you're getting, the product. So at the end, that is one of the main reasons that I support Honda, because I mean, they're phenomenal machines, right? Anyone that gets on these bikes, they're going to tell you that, you know, if they're being completely honest. Yes, there are some places where, you know, you cannot be the best at everything. But we'll move over to this bike, 2021 CBR1000RR. Now, this bike has kind of been in production for quite some time now. I believe it was 2017 or 16 that this gen started. And with this bike is, you know, it has the rep that it's the slowest of the four. Okay, and part of that is true. Because that's not geared to be the fastest. If you want it to be the fastest, this isn't the bike per se for you in this lineup. This bike here is built to be high quality, reliable, and above the mark in all categories: comfortability, rideability, you know, speed. All of these things are taken into consideration, and that's what this bike is. This bike is built for down low and mid-range. So from stop sign to stop sign, or stoplight to stoplight, this is where you get a lot of the fun out of this bike. You know, it's punchy. It comes off the dig really well. It's comfortable when you're riding it. You don't feel displaced. Your body position is great. That's what this bike is made for. So the other big three, right, or the other three Japanese brands, they're built for mid-range to top end. That's why you get them beating the Honda out in those lineup, in the base, we'll call it the base lineup, right? That's why they beat them. It's because that's what they were trying to appease their audience, right? People that follow these brands, and that's what they give them. Okay, Honda appeals to everybody having a quality machine that is better than average across the board, and that's what this bike is. Okay, if you want speed, right? Speed is what you're looking for. Then that's when you come over here. Okay, if that's what you're looking for, and speed is your goal, okay, in life, you want to be the top dog on the road. You know, that's your main goal or idea of what you want, and then you're going to come over here. Now, these bikes are roughly $12,000 apart in cost. Okay, the 2025 CBR1000RR is going to cost you non-ABS $16,999, and then ABS is $17,299. This bike here there is a new rendition to it, the 2025 model, and it starts you out at $28,999. Okay, so roughly 12 grand in between them. What I'm going to go over here is what you get from here to here is substantially different. Okay, these bikes cannot be confused as to one or the other. As to where an R1 and an R1M, you could swap those parts over, aside from the parts that are in the motor, you know, the wheels and shit. You could change that and you would not know what the difference is. I could put an R1 fairing kit on an R1M and I would tell you it's an R1M, and you'd be like, yeah, okay. You know, it looks like an R1. And then and the same thing with the ZX10R and the ZX10RR. Those bikes are the same bike. You can swap the parts. You know, the motors, yes. The motors on the R1M and the ZX10RR, they are upgraded. They have upgraded components inside the motor. But when you look at them, to an untrained eye, you would know no different. You would think it's just a different paint scheme. When you look at these two bikes, you know very well that these are completely different bikes. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm going with it. 12 grand is the difference between these two. It's roughly 12 grand between the ZX10R and the ZX10RR. I want to say the ZX10R is $18,799, if I remember correctly, and the ZX10RR is $30,499. Okay, what? And then you have the R1. I want to say it's 18 or 19,000. I can't remember exactly. I do know that the difference between the R1 and R1M is roughly 8 to 9 grand. It's somewhere in that ballpark. Okay, and those. But what you're not getting much different is what I'm saying. When you look at these bikes, you're getting a completely different bike. The bike has a different chassis. It has the motor is completely different. The suspension is completely different. The brakes are completely different. The display is completely different. The body is completely different. This is a different motorcycle. So you're getting a far better deal here than you will across the other brands. There's nothing wrong with the other brands. I'm just telling you. That's what I'm saying. Why in the world would Kawasaki brand take a ZX10R and a ZX10RR and they would have that vast difference in between them? Maybe somebody knows something I don't, but when I'm looking at something, I want to get my money's worth, and I feel like I got it when I went from here to here. Okay, we'll leave it at that. So Honda, in my opinion, is a more superior motorcycle. This bike will take on any motorcycle at top end, 100%. Anyone that's ever rode one of these knows exactly what I'm talking about. Anybody that's ever experienced running against one of these will know what I'm talking about. If you follow Will Kid Hill, you'll know what I'm talking about. Aside from him blowing it up. Okay, calm down, Will. Calm down, please. Right? The first time I believe that he blew his motor, that wasn't his fault. It was because when he left, the oil he didn't have enough oil in the bike. The second reason, I'm not sure. Aside from Will, okay, I have not heard any negative things about these bikes, having problems with these bikes, having any kind of issues whatsoever. Okay, we say that now. If I have a problem with it, I will unveil that. I will tell you if I have a problem. With this motorcycle, the problem that I did have with it was a battery. That's it, a battery. Okay, the battery had since been fixed, it had been changed, it is fixed. It is done, it has not had a problem since. So that is not what I would consider a normal working part on the motorcycle, as in the motor and the functionality. Batteries come and go, right? We replace those all the time. That's a wearable part. Tires, wearable parts, that's what I'm talking about. Your clutch, you have to fix that. But although if you have an issue there, that could be a problem. If you have a Ducati and you got to change your dry clutch every 2,500 or 3,500 miles, and it's costing you anywhere from $500 to $3,000, that's a lot of money. So when it comes to these bikes, you will not beat these bikes. I'm sorry, you can't. Beat them as in quality and performance. When it comes to high end, this is what you go for. When it comes to quality and across the board for comfortability, this is where you go. Okay, we'll leave it at that. I'm gonna get off my soapbox, right? I'm giving you exactly what I think is the truth. I'm not lying. I'm not sponsored by anybody. Honda does not sponsor me. I would love to be a sponsor for Honda, but I am not. I'm giving you my honest opinion. These are the things that I put my money in, that I work my ass off for, and this is where I put it, amongst other things. But when it comes to these types of things, it's Honda for me. Okay, maybe one day I'll try another motorcycle just to see. I've been on other bikes. I've been on Suzuki's and Yamahas and these other bikes. I've been on BMW. I haven't been on a Ducati yet, but they don't give me enough to warrant to change from something of this quality, they don't match it to me. That's just my opinion, and that's how I'm laying it out to y'all. I'm trying to give you my best argument for these bikes. You would not be unsatisfied. So we'll leave it at that. And next time, maybe I'll go over each one of these bikes, you know, or you know, the triple R, double R, my 600. But guys, if you're not riding a Honda, what happened to you? Are you okay? Blink twice if you're in trouble. All right, guys, have a good one. See y'all in the next one.